Alright guys, it's MW3 and the motive for this commentary came to me as a result of a dual comment I did with Raccoon420 concerning the pros and cons of Call of Duty Black Ops, and it was sort of like a review, and one of the key points we discussed was weapon balance and how weapon imbalance has always been evident throughout every Call of Duty in the franchise, ranging from Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare to the present day Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. So what I thought I'd bring you in this commentary is an in-depth look into this area and my opinions on weapon balance and why weapon imbalance is sort of like an inevitability when it comes to the Call of Duty franchise. So without further delay, let's delve right into it. Now, weapon imbalances, well, for me they've been apparent in every Call of Duty title, ranging from the M16 and perhaps some would say the MP5 from COD 4 to the infamous MP40 from Call of Duty World at War to the UMP45 and ACR in Modern Warfare 2, then on to the notorious AK-74U and FAMAS from Black Ops, through to present day with the MP7 and ACR 6.8, and even you could argue the Striker and Dual Akimbo FMG9s in Modern Warfare 3. Now, if you were to ask a typical Call of Duty enthusiast to name two weapons from the franchise which they consider to be overpowered, I'd be confident, as I'm sure you watching the video would agree, in that individual selecting either the AK-74U or FAMAS from Black Ops, or even both for that matter. But for me, I regard the FAMAS and AK-74U to be no different than any other weapon from this list of overpowered weapons I've just mentioned. So why do these two weapons in particular receive such negative press within the community? Well, one reason you might say why they receive such high condemnation is due to this non-stackable killstreak mechanic in Black Ops, whereby you gain killstreaks from player kills alone and not through killstreak kills as in COD 4 World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. Why, you might ask? Well, this encourages this sort of more gun-on-gun action, since in order to achieve your desired killstreak, you need to acquire the correct corresponding kills, as opposed to Modern Warfare 2, for instance, wherein once you've got your Harrier, you can simply go and find a nice cozy spot on the map to sit and wait whilst you got your next killstreak reward, due to this stackable killstreak integration I've just spoke about. Therefore, Black Ops, you naturally become more aware of the effectiveness of certain weapons, i.e. the pros and cons, because you're required to use the weapons more frequently, due to this non-stackable killstreak feature adopted by Treyarch. And for me, the reason no one bitched as much as they did in Black Ops about the weapon imbalances in Modern Warfare 2 was because there were just far greater debacles and errors in that game which overshadowed it. Most notably, of course, the one-man army danger close and YouTube combination, which even to this day, quite frankly, makes that game pretty much unplayable, or in the very least unenjoyable. I mean, those of you that know me know I'm hardly a fanatic of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, nor Infinity Ward in general for that matter. But what I will say on the whole Infinity Ward versus Treyarch community support debate, seeing as this is where this commentary appears to have headed, is that what separates the two in my book is the fact that Treyarch acted on community feedback in Black Ops by issuing nerfs to both the AK-74U and FAMAS, not because they were more overpowered than, for instance, the UMP45 from Modern Warfare 2, but rather they addressed the worry because they wanted to act on the community feedback they were receiving, as such demonstrating community integration and a willingness for improvement, something Infinity Ward should have but failed to do. But yeah, like I said, I don't want this commentary to turn into like an Infinity Ward versus Treyarch slugfest. That can wait for a future video. In addition, the explosion of the social networking websites such as Twitter opened the door to providing game developers direct contact with their audience, and the development of video sharing websites, primarily of course YouTube, provides visual evidence and further support for the developers to work with. Thus, it would be foolish of me to ignore the role that this YouTube gaming community phenomenon has played and continues to play, and for that matter, in increasing our awareness about games. Yet it is worth reminding that the relationship, should I say, between YouTube and Call of Duty community originated back in the COD 4 World at War days, so it has always been around. But yes, I do acknowledge the advancement of social media websites and the degree of connectivity for Call of Duty back then in 2008, I believe. It is dwarfed by the sheer quality and the magnitude it is today. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the comparison between burst fired and semi-automatic and fully automatic weapons. And the common trend in Call of Duty is that the semi-automatic firing assault rifles, e.g. the FAL and FN FAL or FAL, depends how you want to pronounce it, from Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops respectively, the M14 present in both Black Ops and COD 4, the M1 Garand SVT-40, M1A1 Carbon, Carbine, depends again how you want to pronounce it, the Gewehr 43 from World at War, and the MK14 from Modern Warfare 3, though requiring the highest accuracy, typically possess the most or the highest damage rate to compensate for this drawback and the fact that they are the single shot weapons. Burst firing weapons on the other hand, such as the M16 from both COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops and Modern Warfare 3, the FAMAS also from Modern Warfare 2, the G11 from Black Ops and the Type 95 from Modern Warfare 3 all share above average damage rate and similarly require a higher level of accuracy than your standard fully automatic assault rifle. As such, because of the practicality of these weapons in close quarter engagements, what you tend to find is that the semi-automatic and burst firing weapon users prefer to stick to a more defensive style of play, and by adopting a more cautious approach and picking people off from a distance. I mean, yes, it can be highly annoying getting killed by a single 3-shot burst from, or one-off from a rushing mob by a camping Type 95 user head glitching a fucking barrel, and believe me, I've been there. But rather than blame the weapon, should we not vent our frustration towards the player? I mean, after all, many of the problems in Call of Duty, in and about Call of Duty, should I say, are the result of the community of players who play the game, not necessarily the makeup of the game itself, right? I mean, is that the case? But therein lies the problem. I mean, as a player, the smart tactic is using the strength of the weapon to your advantage, so in all honesty, who are we to judge when a player behaves a certain way in a game? Just because an enemy player uses quintessential rushing class setup, one that complements an aggressive style of play such as extreme conditioning, quick draw and stalker, for instance, with an SMG, does it make him a bad player if all he does is sit in a corner for the entire fucking match? I mean, perhaps this is a discussion for another commentary, but either way, in my opinion, there are exceptions which point the finger of blame onto the game developers themselves. I'm sure most of you have heard the saying, if you build it, they will come. Well, I have a saying appropriate to Infinity Ward, something they persistently seem to ignore, and that is, if it's exploitable, it will be exploited. I mean, no secondary weapon, single or dual wielded, or wieldable, if that's even the word, should be able to beat a primary weapon in a one-on-one confrontation, and yet the dual akimbo FMG9s quite simply demolish the majority of the competition. Since the release of the game, Infinity Ward have confirmed they've patched the weapon, yet whatever nerf they've made clearly isn't satisfactory. And in fact, correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I'm aware, I don't even think the PC have received this much needed patch, even to this day. In fact, while I'm on the topic, quick scoping is another peeve of mine. I know, it's just a game, but cockadoo fuck, man. At least retain some realism in your game. A Barrett 50 cal weighs close to 15 kilograms. Try ADSing with that big lump and spamming the trigger without ripping your fucking shoulder out its socket. At a bare minimum, at least, make the recoil unbelievably, I mean, like, unmanageable when trying to rapid fire with it. So, I suppose it's important to highlight here the role that the community pressure plays in influencing change concerning weapon balancing. Like, for example, for those of you that had forgotten or didn't know, when Call of Duty Black Ops was first released, Treyarch had pretty much suppressed the ability to quickscope, or at the very least its effectiveness. Now, for me personally, I think this was a fantastic move and one in the right direction for the franchise, but I can only assume the majority of the negativity stemmed from the Infinity Ward camp of sniping fanboys who pretty much got butthurt because sniping had become less efficient and much more difficult, and accordingly Treyarch tried to reach equilibrium by issuing a number of patches which made the sniper rifle somewhat credible and functional to these quickscope fans. However, community pressure can of course have a different effect, one not so much targeting the game developers themselves but instead the commentators. For instance, for YouTube Call of Duty commentators, there is an underlying code of conduct, it seems, according to which thou shalt post gameplay wherein thou uses overpowered weapons or something like that. I mean, in other words, we're expected to post high-scoring and entertaining gameplay using the weapons most people who play the game find difficult to use or simply don't play with at all. And anyone found breaching this golden rule will consequently be hung, drawn and quartered, and the reputation as an honourable Call of Duty YouTube commentator left in tatters for the entire public domain to see. I mean, I know this doesn't serve much relevance in this topic of the video, but yeah, I just wanted to get that across because it's one of the many aspects of YouTube which really pisses me off. But anyway, I digress. So the final thing I want to mention in this commentary is this notion according to which weapon diversity promotes game longevity. So for me, if I was to play a game in which all the weapons had the same stats, for example damage, recoil, behaviour, fire rate and hip fire, bullet pattern or spread, however you want to call it, I would become easily bored of the game. And in my opinion, it's this variety in these areas is what not only makes the game more challenging, but it also adds to the game's lifespan. I mean, certain features or certain weapons can enhance that nostalgic feel or connection you have towards a game. For instance, not speaking from personal experience, but you always hear that the AK-47 has a special place in the hearts of COD 4 fans, and for me, I love the distinctive sound when you reload the AUG or AUG, however you want to pronounce it, in Black Ops, and the MPL is my favourite SMG to use in that game. It's probably in the top 3 of my favourite weapons in the whole game. What's more, and most notable to those that know me, over the past few months I've took a massive shine to the G36 in Modern Warfare 3. So, what's my point here? Well, Without weapon diversity, you wouldn't get that sort of feeling I try and outline here, but I think I'm failing to do, because every weapon would behave the same, and all you would have to go off would be the aesthetic diversity, which for me wouldn't cut it. You need to have that performance diversity, which is what I'm mentioning here. So if weapon diversity is required for game longevity, and this is something developers intend to uphold, by logical deduction it follows that weapon imbalance is therefore inevitable. So that concludes this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, then I'd really appreciate it if you hit me up with a like. I'm really interested to hear what your views are on the points that I raised in this commentary, so don't hesitate and leave me a comment below. I will reply to it, I promise. I look forward to reading them, and I welcome any feedback you might have, so long as it's constructive. Don't just leave a comment saying this was shit, because I want to know why you thought it was shit. Go check out the links below, guys, and until next time, goodbye.